Imagine waking up one Christmas morning, surrounded by the familiar sparkle of lights. The day feels magical, doesn't it? Now imagine learning that the very heart of this day, the reason millions celebrate, is based on a date that's not even real. That's right. Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. You see, long before Jesus walked the earth, December 25th already carried deep significance for ancient cultures. The winter solstice, which marks the longest night of the year, was a time of celebration and hope, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light would return. On this day, pagans honored gods such as Mithras, the sun deity revered by Roman soldiers, with feasts and rituals. This is due to the striking similarities between Mithras's story and Jesus's, who was supposedly born on December 25th and miraculously delivered in a cave. In the 4th century, when Christianity was spreading across the Roman Empire, church leaders needed to unite diverse people under one faith. Adopting December 25th as Jesus' birthday wasn't about history, it was about strategy. By aligning Christmas with existing pagan traditions, they made Christianity more appealing to the masses. It was a brilliant move, but one rooted in practicality, not truth. It's not just Mithras. Ancient Egyptian myths recount the resurrection of Osiris following his torn-apart state. Figures like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., who, like Jesus, sacrificed themselves for a greater good, still captivate us in modern times. To some, these are signs of divine intervention, to others, they're impossible. However, modern science could potentially shed light on this issue. Consider this. Quantum mechanics has revealed that the universe operates in ways we're only beginning to understand. Particles can exist in two places at once. Energy can appear and disappear unpredictably. Long before Jesus' story became central to Christianity, there were other figures whose lives mirrored his in striking ways. Take Mithras, for example. In the Roman Empire, people worshipped Mithras as a god of light and truth, claiming that he was born on December 25th, long before this date became associated with Jesus. His followers celebrated his birth as the renewal of life and light during the winter solstice. Mithras wasn't alone in this narrative. Osiris, an Egyptian god, has a story that reads like a tragic play. They killed him, dismembered him into 14 pieces, and scattered them across Egypt. Isis, his sister, painstakingly reassembled him, recovering only 13 parts. Spiritual replacement of the missing piece led to Osiris's resurrection, not as a man, but as the ruler of the underworld. These stories of divine birth, death, and rebirth are echoes of humanity's deepest hopes, the triumph over darkness and death itself. Now, let's ground this in hard dates and historical context. Jesus of Nazareth is believed to have been born sometime between 6 and 4 BCE. However, the writing of the Gospels, Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, did not occur immediately. Scholars estimate their composition between 50 CE and 100 CE, decades after Jesus' death. People passed down stories orally during this time, akin to a giant game of telephone. Over time, details changed, shifted, and in some cases, embellished. The 4th century marked the official recognition of December 25th as Jesus' birthday. The official recognition of December 25th as Jesus' birthday wasn't due to the discovery of a hidden document confirming the date. Instead, Emperor Constantine had declared Christianity the official religion of Rome, and church leaders needed a unifying symbol to bridge Christian beliefs with pagan traditions. Aligning Jesus' birth with the winter solstice festivals of Saturnalia and the birth of Mithras was a stroke of genius. It made Christianity more relatable to a pagan majority empire. The claim that Jesus was born on December 25th is one of Christianity's most enduring traditions. Yet, a closer look at biblical passages, historical context, and ancient practices reveals that this date has no factual basis. Rather, it was a later addition that sought to unite diverse groups under a single symbolic celebration. The Bible itself offers little clarity on the exact date of Jesus' birth. In fact, the Gospels, primarily Matthew and Luke, provide some details of the nativity story, but omit specifics about the time of year. Luke 2:8 mentions that shepherds were keeping watch over their flocks by night, suggesting Jesus' birth occurred during a time when shepherds were out in the fields, typically spring or early fall in Judea, not the dead of winter. This single detail casts doubt on the December 25th claim. Before this, early Christians prioritized the celebration of Jesus' death and resurrection, Easter, as they viewed his sacrifice as the cornerstone of their faith. The decision to celebrate his birth was a later development. In 336 CE, during the reign of Emperor Constantine, the Roman Empire officially recognized December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth. The timing aligned with existing pagan celebrations, such as the Roman festival of Saturnalia, which honored Saturn, the god of agriculture, with feasting, gift-giving, and merrymaking. It also coincided with the Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, birthday of the unconquered sun, a festival celebrating the sun god Sol. Both events marked the winter solstice, a turning point when days begin to lengthen, symbolizing hope and renewal. Adopting December 25th as Jesus' birthday served a strategic purpose. It allowed Christianity to assimilate into Roman culture more seamlessly by aligning its holy days with pre-existing pagan festivals. This pragmatic approach helped the Church gain broader acceptance among the empire's diverse population. Despite the Church's strategic choice of December 25th, the Bible provides evidence that challenges this date. Luke 2:1-7, a key passage, describes Mary and Joseph's journey to Bethlehem for a census Caesar Augustus ordered. Historical records suggest that Roman censuses typically took place in warmer months when travel was easier, likely in late summer or early fall. Astronomers and historians have analyzed the Star of Bethlehem, mentioned in Matthew's Gospel, Matthew 2:2, for centuries. Some suggest it may have been a conjunction of planets, a comet, or another celestial event that occurred closer to the spring of 6 or 5 BCE, further contradicting the December timeline. The emphasis on shepherds in Luke's account also points to a seasonal clue. Shepherds in ancient Judea traditionally brought their flocks into shelters during the colder months, making December an unlikely time for them to be living out in the fields as described in Luke 2:8. This pastoral imagery aligns more closely with the spring lambing season, a time when shepherds would remain outdoors to care for newborn lambs. The exact date of Jesus' birth is less important to the Christian faith than the meaning behind it. The nativity story symbolizes humility, sacrifice, and the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies. Matthew 1:23 affirms Jesus' role as the Messiah, echoing Isaiah 7:14's foretelling of the birth of a child named Emmanuel, meaning God with us. However, understanding the historical and cultural contexts of Jesus' birth enriches the narrative. It highlights the blending of traditions and the adaptability of early Christianity in spreading its message. While the December 25th date is symbolic, it reflects how the Church sought to unify believers and appeal to a broader audience. Simultaneously, this amalgamation of traditions showcases the shaping of stories to fulfill wider societal objectives. The Nativity story was not simply a record of events, it was a message of hope, a promise of salvation, and a symbol of renewal. These themes resonated deeply with people across various cultures and time periods, transcending the specifics of any one religion. The Roman Empire's political and cultural environment significantly influenced the presentation of Jesus' story. The 4th century was a time of significant transition for Christianity, which moved from being a persecuted sect to becoming the dominant religion of the empire under Constantine's rule. This shift required not only theological adjustments, but also cultural ones. The story of Jesus' birth, whether celebrated in December or another time, reflects universal themes that have captivated humanity for centuries. The image of a child born in humble circumstances, destined for greatness, speaks to the idea that even the least among us can make a profound impact. This theme appears in myths, folklore, and literature across cultures, from King Arthur's rise from obscurity to the rags to riches tales of modern storytelling. Additionally, the focus on light overcoming darkness, symbolized by the winter solstice, underscores a fundamental human desire for hope. The idea that after the longest night, the days begin to grow longer mirrors the belief that life can prevail even in the face of despair. By tying Jesus' birth to this moment of renewal, early Christians ensured the story would resonate on a deeply emotional and symbolic level. At its core, the nativity story remains a testament to the enduring power of storytelling. Whether viewed as a literal account, a metaphor, or a combination of both, it continues to inspire reflection on themes of love, sacrifice, and hope. Knowing its origins and evolution helps us understand the story and the human spirit that created it. King Herod the Great, a ruler known for his ambitious building projects and ruthless reign, plays a pivotal role in the historical context of Jesus' birth. Herod ruled Judea as a client king under Roman authority and is prominently mentioned in the Gospel of Matthew as the monarch during Jesus' birth. However, historical records of Herod's death, which occurred in 4 BC, provide critical clues that shift the traditional timeline of Jesus' nativity. The Jewish historian Flavius Josephus, whose writings provide a detailed account of Herod's final days, well documents Herod's death. Josephus records that Herod died shortly after an eclipse of the moon and before the Jewish Passover. Astronomical calculations place this lunar eclipse on March 13th, 4th BC, indicating that Herod likely died soon after. Given that Passover occurred the following month, this timeline offers a precise window for his death. The significance of this date is profound. If Herod the Great was alive during the birth of Jesus, as Matthew's Gospel suggests, then Jesus must have been born before 4 BC. This contradicts the traditional calculation of Jesus' birth in 1 AD, which stems from a 6th century error by the monk Dionysius Exiguus in creating the Anno Domini AD dating system. The Gospel of Matthew describes Herod's reaction to the news of Jesus' birth and the visit of the Magi, who had followed a star to find the newborn King of the Jews. Herod, fearing a threat to his throne, ordered the massacre of all male children in Bethlehem under 2 years old, a horrifying event known as the Massacre of the Innocents, Matthew 2:16. This action further narrows the timeline. If Herod sought to eliminate children up to 2 years old, Jesus' birth may have occurred 2 years before Herod's death, likely between 6 and 4 BC. Additionally, historical evidence suggests that the Roman census mentioned in Luke's Gospel, requiring Joseph and Mary to travel to Bethlehem, also aligns with a similar time frame. Quirinius, the governor of Syria, ordered this census, adding another piece to the puzzle. Understanding Herod's death date reshapes how we interpret the nativity story. It highlights discrepancies between traditional Christian calendars and historical realities, emphasizing the complex process of piecing together ancient events. Herod's paranoia, his brutal response to perceived threats, and his role in the biblical narrative anchor the story of Jesus' birth in a historical framework, even as the exact timing remains debated. While the date of Jesus' birth may never be definitively known, the death of Herod the Great offers a critical marker. It places Jesus' nativity earlier than traditionally celebrated, reminding us that the interplay of history, faith, and tradition continues to shape our understanding of these pivotal events. Astronomical studies have played a significant role in the debate over Jesus' birth date. The Gospel of Matthew describes the Star of Bethlehem guiding the Magi to the newborn Jesus, Matthew 2:1-2. While the nature of this celestial phenomenon is uncertain, scholars have proposed several possibilities, including a planetary conjunction, a supernova, or a comet. One prominent theory points to a rare conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in the constellation Pisces around 7 BC, an event that ancient astrologers might have interpreted as a sign of a royal birth. Another astronomical event of interest is the appearance of Halley's Comet in 12 BC, or the potential nova recorded by Chinese astronomers in 5 BC. These phenomena align with the time frame of Jesus' birth as suggested by the death of King Herod in 4 BC. However, none of these events provides conclusive evidence, leaving room for continued speculation. Historical records such as Roman censuses and Herod's reign further inform the debate. Luke's Gospel mentions a census requiring Joseph and Mary to travel to Bethlehem, which some scholars associate with a Roman census under Quirinius. However, historical inconsistencies emerge when we record Quirinius's census around 6 AD, years after Herod's death. This discrepancy complicates efforts to pinpoint Jesus' birth year. If you're enjoying this historical exploration, please consider clicking the super thanks. By doing so, you're not just showing support, you are helping us continue researching. Some scholars suggest an April birth based on the timing of Passover and the alignment of the shepherds' activities with Jewish traditions. Others propose September, noting that the Feast of Tabernacles, a significant Jewish festival, could explain the overcrowding in Bethlehem described in Luke's account. What remains undeniable is the power of the nativity story. Regardless of the exact date or circumstances, the themes it embodies, hope, renewal, and divine presence, resonate across time and cultures. It is not simply a moment frozen in history, but a narrative that continues to inspire reflection and connection. As we uncover the layers of history and tradition surrounding birth, we are invited to reflect on why this story matters to us. More important than when or where Jesus was born is his life and teachings' impact on humanity. By exploring the origins of this story, we deepen our appreciation for the values it represents: compassion, humility, and the belief in something greater than ourselves. The mystery of Jesus' birth invites us to embrace curiosity and wonder, challenging us to seek meaning in the stories that shape our lives. Whether seen as historical fact, spiritual truth, or a blend of both, the Nativity remains a symbol of enduring faith and the universal human search for light in darkness. This, perhaps, is the true miracle of Jesus' birth. Not the precise date or the details of the star, but the hope and love it continues to inspire in a world that still longs for them. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video.